Welcome. This time we will look at 7 interesting historical places in central England that are definitely worth a visit. Sit back. Let's get started. Number 1. Baddesley Clinton. Baddesley Clinton in Warwickshire is one of the most atmospheric and intriguing manor houses cared for by the National Trust. This moated medieval home dates back to the 13th century, and its name reaches even further into the Saxon past, from Baddesley, meaning bad's clearing. The estate passed through several families, but it was the Furrers who shaped its identity, living here for an extraordinary 500 years. During the turbulent years after the Reformation, they remained steadfast Roman Catholics and turned the house into a refuge for priests. Hidden priest holes still survive inside the building, silent witnesses to a time when discovery meant execution. The house also carries darker stories. In the 1400s, Nicholas Brome is said to have murdered the local priest inside the house and later rebuilt the parish church as penance. Over the centuries, the family added the Great Hall, stained glass heraldry and, in the 19th century, a Catholic chapel as the household embraced the faith once again. Today, Baddesley Clinton is a place where water, stone, and centuries of secrets come together. A rare survivor filled with drama, devotion, and quiet beauty. Number 2. Packwood House. Just a few miles away you will find Packwood House, a remarkable example of how a modest farmhouse can evolve into an iconic English country house. It began as a simple timber-framed dwelling built between 1556 and 1560 for John Featherstone. Over the centuries, the Featherstone family expanded their estate, and by the early 1600s they controlled around 690 acres of land. The true transformation came in the 20th century. In 1904 the estate was purchased by industrialist Alfred Ashe, and his son Graham Baron Ashe spent the next 40 years turning Packwood into his vision of the perfect English country house. He collected Tudor furniture, converted the Great Barn into a Tudor-style hall for dancing, and added the Long Gallery in 1931 to link it with the main house. In 1941 he gifted Packwood to the National Trust, though he continued living there for several years. Packwood's most famous feature is the Yew Garden, a 17th century topiary landscape where over 100 yews symbolize the apostles, the evangelists, and the multitude of believers. From the spiral mound known as the Mount, visitors enjoy one of the most iconic views in the Midlands. Packwood House is a place where history, symbolism, and meticulous restoration come together in a uniquely atmospheric setting. Number 3. Greyfriars House. Greyfriars House in the heart of Worcester is one of the finest surviving late medieval townhouses in England. Despite its name, it was not part of the nearby Franciscan friary. That misconception arose in the 20th century. Research shows it was built in the late 1400s for Thomas Green, a wealthy merchant and twice High Bailiff of Worcester. Dendrochronology carried out in 2015 revealed that the earliest timbers were felled in 1489, confirming the building's late medieval origins. Its timber-framed facade curves with the street, and the interior tells a story of shifting fortunes, from prosperous owners to some of Worcester's poorest residents. Greyfriars has witnessed civil war, urban decline, and even a demolition order in 1936. It survived only thanks to a small group of passionate conservationists who restored it and eventually transferred it to the National Trust in 1966. Today, Greyfriars House stands as a remarkable time capsule, a place where the fabric of the building itself tells the story of Worcester's past and the fight to preserve its heritage. Number 4. Upton House. Upton House in Warwickshire is a refined country estate that weaves together more than 3 centuries of British history. The land is mentioned as early as the 12th century, but the house we see today took shape in the late 1600s under Sir Rushout Cullen. Over the years it passed through influential families, including the Child banking dynasty, who used it as an opulent hunting retreat. The real transformation came in 1927, when Walter Samuel, the second Viscount Bearsted, philanthropist and heir to the Shell oil empire, purchased the estate. He turned Upton House into a world-class art gallery. Today it holds one of the most significant collections of European art assembled in the 20th century, featuring works by Bruhl, El Greco, and Canaletto. Equally striking are the gardens, redesigned in the 1930s by Lady Bearsted into dramatic terraces leading down to a mirror-like pool and a unique bog garden. Upton House is a place where art, landscape, and history blend into a truly memorable experience. Number 5. Canons Ashby. Canons Ashby in Northamptonshire is one of the most remarkably preserved country houses cared for by the National Trust. Its story begins in the 12th century with an Augustinian priory. Only St. Mary's Church survives today, but the priory stones and layout shaped the house that followed. The Dredon family lived here for 4 centuries, beginning in 1551 when John Dredon inherited a farmhouse and tower on the site and gradually transformed it into an elegant Elizabethan manor. Much of what you see today is original: timber paneling, Renaissance wall paintings, Jacobean plasterwork, and the impressive Tudor fireplace in the Great Hall. The formal gardens were laid out around 1710, with terraces, herbaceous borders, and an orchard planted with historic fruit varieties. Canons Ashby remains almost unchanged since the early 1700s, a rare time capsule of English domestic life, where every room and every stone carries the weight of centuries. Number 6. Coughton Court. Coughton Court in Warwickshire is one of the most significant Tudor houses in England. It has been home to the Throckmorton family since 1409, and their story is woven into some of the most dramatic moments in British history. The estate's striking Tudor gatehouse, built after 1536, was the work of Sir George Throckmorton, once a favourite of Henry VIII, later a vocal opponent of the king's divorce from Catherine of Aragon. The Throckmortons remained steadfast Catholics, and Coughton became linked to several plots. It played a role in the Throckmorton plot of 1583 and is closely associated with the Gunpowder Plot of 1605. Some conspirators fled here after the plan collapsed. A surviving priest hole inside the house recalls the dangers faced by Catholic clergy at the time. Today, Coughton Court is celebrated for its beautiful gardens and its collection of Catholic treasures. Although the property passed to the National Trust in 1946, the Throckmorton family still lives here under a long lease. It is a place where faith, politics, and family history intertwine, a living chronicle of England. Number 7. Charlecote Park. Charlecote Park, just outside Stratford-upon-Avon, is a place where English history feels wonderfully alive. Home to the Lucy family since 1247, the Grand Tudor House was completed in 1558. Legend has it that a young William Shakespeare once poached deer here, and was hauled before the formidable Sir Thomas Lucy. The house we see today blends original Tudor features with major Victorian restoration, when George Hammond Lucy set out to recreate its Tudor splendor in the 19th century. Inside, portraits of generations of Lucys line the walls, including the 1680 painting of Captain Thomas Lucy featuring one of the earliest known depictions of a black servant in the West Midlands. The 185-acre parkland was redesigned in the 18th century by the great landscape architect Capability Brown, creating sweeping views, ancient trees, and a fallow deer herd that has roamed here since the 1400s. Charlecote is a rare blend of aristocratic heritage, Shakespearean lore, and classic English landscape. I hope you enjoyed some of today's video. Please like the video, share it with your friends, and if you're interested in similar stories, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. Have a great time and see you in the next journey through England.